channel. My name is Tyla, and for today's video it's a bit different. So I was going across videos on my hard drive and I found some footage from about 3 years ago of me interviewing my grandmother. So I wanted to edit that together and just kind of post a video interviewing her about her life. I think it's really important that we pay homage to our loved ones while they are alive. A lot of people wait until their loved ones pass on to pay their respects, and I think it's really important and valuable to capture these memories while they are still with us. So without further ado, I just wanted to make this quick intro before I went into the video. This is me interviewing my grandmother. Thanks for watching. Okay, hi.
Hi.
Can you tell me what? Hi, Grandma.
Hi. I'm here with my granddaughter.
Yes. Okay. So, what is your name, and what are the names of your parents?
My name is Jane Elizabeth Williams, and my mother is Ida Eliza Williams, and my father is James Williams. My mom birthed 6 children, and we survived 3. 3 passed away, and I fall in line of the middle girl. 3 girls, 3 boys.
Amazing. Can you tell me about your parents?
Well, yes. It's a cultural thing, though, that like back in the 50s and 60s, parents, where should I look at the camera? Or?
Looking though.
Oh, yeah. Parents didn't talk much with their kids. Like if you wanted to know anything about like birth control or stuff, it was almost like taboo to talk to your kids about sex. So with other topics of talking to your parents, we didn't really discuss stuff that much, and that's one thing that I kind of regretted. But my mom was a housewife, and she took care of us kids, and she took care of the house, and she actually was an artist. She could draw very well. And my dad was a postal worker, and he worked in the Brooklyn Navy Yard, and he had a heritage of Cherokee Indian, because his mother was a full-blooded Cherokee. And we didn't have too much history on it, but he passed away. Both parents passed away, and my mom is buried in Massachusetts. My father is buried, I believe, in anyway. My earliest. Well, I could go back to my childhood. I remember just playing and just having the freedom to like run around, because we used to live in the city, Manhattan, and there was a park right across the street from our house. But we had to cross the street, and parents are always concerned about, look both ways when you cross at the light, the green light, etc. But we used to just run across the street to the park whenever we want. We would go home and have lunch, and then we would run across the street and go back to the park. And it seemed like I just played every day, all day, when it wasn't a school day, of course. But that's what I remember as a kid. And I remember from my childhood, since we lived in the city, and when it's the summertime, hot, you always want to go downstairs and buy an icy.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
Icy. We had the Italian ices, and lemon was my favorite. We had the ices from the bodega, because that was the Spanish store, and you get a long one for 5 cents, and it would cool you down. And also the ice cream truck. It would come around, and it would sing. It would play that song, and all the kids ran outside to get to get an ice cream. So that's what I remember from my childhood: playing, being outside, and having something cool to cool you off. Also, we had the fire hydrant, and the kids would put it on, and get a can, put the can in front of the hose opening of the fire hydrant, and spray us. And it was cold water on a hot day. It was like taking a cold shower, and all the kids would run in. We were screaming, and cars would stop there to get their car washed.
Oh my gosh.
They would get their car washed, and you know, sometimes they tipped the kid or not. But they would come and stand, you know, park right in front of the spraying hydrant and then move on. But that's how we did, that's how we had our playtime.
Yeah.
And we also lived near a elevated train that would pass through where we lived. The train conductors would throw down chalk to us.
Mm-hmm.
We would scream, chalk, chalk, chalk.
Chalk? Why chalk?
Because they had colors, and we would write on the ground.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like we would draw pictures on the ground, and it was an activity just to keep us busy. Well, of course, JFK, the assassination of Kennedy, the Vietnam War, that was a major event that was going on at my youth. And and of course the awareness of black people and black pride. Because my brothers, I used to straighten my hair a lot, and my brother said, you should wear an afro, you should wear an afro. I didn't know nothing about being Afrocentric. So eventually I started wearing the afro, you know, as a young girl, and you know, the whole black power and the civil rights, Martin Luther King, social rights, and the women's movement. All the women wanted their rights to whatever they wanted to do. The women wanted equal work for equal pay.
I see.
Sort
Still
of
fighting
like,
for that.
Yeah. So there was a lot of marching going on then. Martin Luther King, the civil rights, the Black Power movement, and the Black Panthers, of course.
Yes.
I grew up, from what I remember, in Manhattan, because that's where my parents settled. I don't remember them living in the South. No, we didn't live in the South in my youth. We lived in the North. By then, they had already migrated from the South. And we lived in the North, in New York City mainly, and we also lived in Massachusetts. That's where my extended family lives. Mm-hmm. My grandpa, my grandma, and my uncles and aunts lived in Massachusetts. And I remember being the only black kid in my class, and the only black kid in my neighborhood. But they weren't racist. They were very friendly and nice people, nice neighbors. And they treated us well, and you know, they respected my grandfather because he built the roads. So they respected our family, and it was beautiful because we had a farm where we would grow our food. I remember going outside picking peppermint tea and going in the house and making a cup of tea. We would grow our food. My grandfather had a smokehouse where you put the meat, because we had chickens and pigs. Mm-hmm. We didn't have any cows because they were kind of big. You needed a big homestead for cows because they're huge animals. But a pig, we could keep it on our grounds. And after he killed the pig, he would, you know, whatever they did with it to clean it, and then put the meat in this smokehouse. It wasn't a refrigerator, it was just dark. And then you could prepare the meat with salt, and it's like salt preservatives, and it would stay in there for months and months. That kind of living made me the person who I am today, because once you get closer to nature, natural things, gardening, farming, you appreciate life more. You appreciate life, you appreciate the things that you have, because everything comes from nature. The technology now is amazing because it it serves humanity in a broader perspective. Before, only colleges had computers, and only companies like IBM, International Business Machines, and even libraries didn't have computers offering it to the public. So either you had to be connected, rich, or having resources where you could go on the computer. They didn't have too many websites. They just had AOL, America Online, and it wasn't offered as much. But now, you could find a computer place or like a coffee house or something where you get you can go online easily and use computers. You can use it for your homework, because it's information. It's worldwide information. When I was a kid, about, I guess, grade school, my mom would send us to church every Sunday. She would give us money to put in the plate, for the offering, and we would go to the candy store and buy candy with that money. And we would put in a nickel or whatever in the church offering. But the funny thing about going to church as a youngster is the minister, we were Episcopalian, the minister would read from the Bible and then try to kind of take that with something in real life. But I never knew anything of what he was talking about. So I went to Sunday school, and my Sunday school teacher's name was Miss Battle, which I remember. And I learned about Christianity. But I think that there is a creator, and I'm glad my mother exposed us to God, the creator, or whatever you want to call him. So we have to learn, and we have to know that you have to have a little bit of fear of something in your life. And religion taught you good and bad, good and evil, and 10 Commandments were the rules that Moses sent down Moses got from God from heaven, and those were like rules to live by in order to live a long and decent life. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, honor your mother and your father, etc. So that part helped me to understand about how to live in society and culture. I have to really think about that one. I got some advice about a career advice, and I studied art major at Pratt Institute in Brooklyn, New York. But I got some advice from a gentleman named Bill Irish, who ended up being my fiance. He told me, when I graduated from college, he told me, okay, you did your 4 years, you got your BA. What are you gonna do next? So I said, well, my major is art. And I couldn't find a job in art at that time. And my minor was fashion, and there wasn't much of industry fashion jobs for black women at that time. So he told me, he gave me some advice. He said, why don't you try education? Because they always need good teachers. So I went down to the Board of Education in New York City, and they hired me. Yeah, it was very easy. And that started my career in education. Being a person who enjoys life, no matter how it comes to me. Being poor, being rich, being fat, being skinny, being white, being black. Whatever the cards are dealt to me, I want to be remembered being the person who could be adjusting to the environment. And I want to be remembered for appreciating cleanliness, because you have to have clean life, clean food, clean environment. And cleanliness is next to godliness. So I want to be remembered for the cleanliness, eating good food, sharing. I want to be remembered for all the things, the morals that my mother taught me.
Beautiful. Thank you, Grandma. Yes! Gotta go. Okay. Let's go. Oh, yeah.